Welcome back to Transport Fever. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. And in this video, we're going to be continuing with our ride along. We find ourselves currently in Ottawa. And as you can see, the train that we're about to catch has just left. So we better quickly chase after it. Make sure you stay tuned for the next 20 minutes to continue along this ride along. And let's see how well the traffic copes with these new trains. Jumping back on board the train, we are now headed for Washington Union Station. After Washington, we're going to be going to Columbus and then finally back to St. Louis. Not Chicago, as I said in the last video. We went from St. Louis to Chicago. But we're going to see what happens because this is going to be going on to the new section of track, which should be completely clear of any obstacles. But after that, we're going to be going into the busiest part of this map, and that's the part that's really going to worry me. So let's see if we can cope all the way into that. Already up to 47, 48, almost 50 miles per hour. It's got pretty good acceleration on these steam trains. And like I said, these are going to be the last of the steam trains that we see. Other trains are now going to start going to diesel and electric. I'm going to probably run these trains for a while, but we are going to see a lot more diesel and electrics for the rest of this series. There's Lake Ontario over to our right hand side. You may have just seen that, and we're going to get held up at a signal immediately. I believe this is the holding signal into the New York. I think this is the holding signal onto the New York line, and because we're crossing the New York line as a crossover, not as a bridge or a tunnel, we might see that more often than not. So that's something we might need to consider. But I do believe after this second tunnel, we're straight onto the New York line for all of, I don't know, a few hundred feet. Not even a few hundred feet actually, for all of nothing. It's just straight onto that line and straight back off. So yeah, that could do with a little bit of smoothing out on the right hand side. Yeah, definitely could do with some smoothing on the right hand side, but that's okay. I'm trying to work out what these blue trains with. Oh, those are the Washington-Toronto trains. That's what those ones are. That's what they are. Dark blue train with white carriages is the Washington-Toronto. Yeah. It's difficult to remember all these train lines and what the colours are and which one represents what. See, now we could put another signal here, and that might help. Could put another signal here, which it might do us a whole load of good, but I don't know. See those mountains ahead of us? We're heading straight into those mountains. The mountains between New York and Pennsylvania. That is the state of New York. There's Lake Ontario over on the right hand side once again, so you can see we just went over the edge of it. And now let's see what speed we can get up to on this clear track, because there should be nobody in our way now. And we should see another one of our trains coming back the opposite direction fairly soon. So that's going to be one of the anti-clockwise trains. Now we are going uphill, so that might hinder our acceleration a little bit. In fact, you can see the uphill gradient right ahead of us. But we'll see how this train manages to cope. I'd like to be able to hold 70 through this. At the moment we're at 59 miles an hour, which is not great. But I think we're not losing speed, so that's good. And we are through the worst part of the uphill section, I believe. So we should now start accelerating. And like I said, the 70 is the mark that I want. Currently at 60. Not brilliant. Well, we've got a bit of a downhill gradient here, so maybe that will help us pick up some speed. It's not that much of a downhill, but it will help us. In fact, you can just hear it even helping us as we have to slow down for some of the tighter corners. That's what I was worried about, but there's nothing we can do about this. We have to go around these corners. 50 miles per hour around these. There's another plane you might have just seen in the top right hand corner, and there is one of those anti-clockwise trains coming towards us, quite slowly in fact. So obviously he's having difficulty accelerating too. There's another plane right above us actually, that's going to land in at Pennsylvania. That's a nice view, that's a really nice view. .62 miles per hour, but I think we're coming up to another tighter corner. I tried to keep these corners around 60 if I could. I think this corner is a 60 mile per hour corner. It's only 58. And the horrible autosave, but you know what, it comes in handy when things go wrong. And there's another one of the anti-clockwise trains, so they've bunched up a little bit, haven't they? That's a little bit awkward. I wasn't expecting them to bunch up so quickly. That's the effect of the Pennsylvania approach, I suppose. And now we're coming up well into the heart of Pennsylvania, I believe. And we've got Philadelphia that's going to be coming up. But we're not going to Philadelphia, we're going to Washington. But we are going to be crossing over some of the freight stations in Philadelphia momentarily. In fact, as we come out of this is where we're going to be crossing over. So we should be able to see Philadelphia, hopefully. No, we can't. You can just about see the houses of Philadelphia right there as we cross over the freight station. And you can hear one of the trains. There's another freight station right there. And now I believe we're supposed to go off to the... Yeah, we're going off to the right-hand side. And then, yep, into the rightmost lane. And that's going to go... This is a slow corner, as you can see. And we're going to be going up and over the Philadelphia Mainline to avoid the traffic and the mess of that as we head into Washington Station. So we'll head up and over, and then we'll join on to a spur line that then joins to the Washington Station approach line. I'm coming up with all these names for this approach and this junction setup, but really it's just a mess of tracks. But if this works, this is going to be quite impressive. So we've crossed over, that's good, no worries there. It's this part that might be a little bit of a concern. Just a little bit. But you see, the fact that we have a separate track right now is really helpful to us, as you see other trains going out. See, now we can stick on this side, which is really good for us. Nice slow approach into Washington Station. By slow, 50 miles per hour. But that's slow for transport fever. Continue through, we have a clear signal. There's that plane taking off, the one that we were about to see landing. There's another one of the anti-clockwise trains. Flashing green for us, that means that we're clear into the platform. And there we have it, we are now in Washington. Now to see if the traffic messes us up. This is going to be the big one. Is the traffic going to mess us up? There doesn't seem to be that many passengers waiting for us, which is perhaps a problem. Doesn't seem to be any passengers waiting for us. Oh well, that one passenger maybe. Two passengers? That person on the end? Yeah, that person on the end too. Some people definitely got off the train though. And now to turn back towards St. Louis. Oh, passing through Columbus first, or stopping at Columbus first. Passing through Pittsburgh, then stopping at Columbus, and passing through Cincinnati, and then stopping at St. Louis. So now this is also part of a new track, the way we go over, I think. Oh no, the over is going the opposite direction. The anti-clockwise one would have been on the new track. This is the old track, or I say old track, we did redo this entire this entire junction, so it's not really, none of this is really old. But you can see that if we're going to go over to the left, if we were going to go over to the right, that would be the other track going over back towards Ottawa in the Ontario province of Canada. But right now we're going to join up onto the Philadelphia Mainline and go through Pittsburgh and go towards Columbus on a track that we are very, very familiar with. Now the big question is, how much traffic are we going to get on this track? That is the really big question. So far out of Washington we are clear. The Pennsylvania approach so far is clear for us, or the Pennsylvania departure I suppose in this case. Comes one of these St. Louis to Philadelphia trains. Well, that's just past us. We've got some trains going underneath us, I believe. Or is it a train trying to overtake us? Maybe a train trying to overtake us. As the Washington-Toronto train comes along. That is a train trying to overtake us. And it is succeeding in overtaking us this time. So one of the diesels didn't manage to, the other one does. Fantastic. But we're going to see, we're going to continue along. Let's see if we can catch up to this train. We might not be able to. Might not be able to. It is definitely going faster than us. It's no longer going faster than us. It has stopped. And we have just blown past it quite easily. Alright, so for us, the Pennsylvania departure has been pretty smooth running, at least up to this point. That's going to be a red signal for us, surely. That is, and what was that in the... I don't know what that was on the bridge, but it should... Ah! We've got to wait for 2 trains crossing. Interesting. And you can hear that diesel engine, the Philadelphia Mainline, or the Pennsylvania Mainline, sorry. It's right there. Right, let's see who has the better acceleration. It's clearly that diesel engine, it's lighter. The train is lighter. But still, it's not too bad. The steam engine is not doing too badly against it, considering the steam engine is a lot heavier. Now this is where I'm concerned about going through Pittsburgh, so we might end up stopped again. In fact, no, that's clear for us, but that took a while to clear. That's what I'm worried about. Things to think about. Definite things to think about. Right, we all clear through Pittsburgh, so that's good. So aside from right at the end of the Pennsylvania departure, we were good all the way through, which is impressive. I think that's impressive. Quite happy with the way that's actually panning out. You can see this train is shorter, because I think this is the last carriage on it. There you go. So that's what's giving that driver the much better acceleration. So that's going to pull away from us, but I want to see if we can sort of level out the speed. I don't think we can. It looks like we're clear into the next section, which I think is now... Oh no, there's one more signal set before Columbus. We might get held up at that, because that's the joining onto the Cleveland spur. We'll see though. We will see. We seem to be catching up to that train, so maybe they're being held up. Or just had to slow down. No? Everyone's clear through. I wonder why that one slowed down. Maybe that was starting to be held up and then whatever was holding up was clear. Nope, it looks like we are going to get stopped. I see another train. There's the other train. Who's going to get held up? Everybody is going to get held up. That's everybody held up right now, waiting for the Washington-Chicago train to pass through, and we can go through first. That's good. Now, it's good that we get to go through. So that wasn't too bad for us. That wasn't too bad at all. There's another one of the St. Louis to Philadelphia trains. I think that's St. Louis, Philadelphia. And we can go into this platform. And we are going to stop here to pick up some passengers. And we're also going to get stuck on an autosave. And after Columbus, we only have one more stop to go, and that's back to St. Louis. Should go very well for the end of this video. I think that train there is the Chicago Buffalo train? I think that's the Chicago Buffalo train. Yeah. Okay, we can now continue. Now, just like the diesel train that's alongside us, neither of us are stopping in Cincinnati. Oh, actually, I've made the diesel train stop in Cincinnati, the Philadelphia Mainline train. Pennsylvania Mainline, sorry. As you can hear, it does stop in Cincinnati. We do not. We're all going to go through that tree, though, so brace yourselves. Ow. And you can see Columbus is actually expanding out this way too, on the left-hand side. So that's pretty good. Another one of the Pennsylvania Mainline trains heading into Columbus. Happily heading into Columbus. And we are on a green signal. Good. On the Cincinnati approach. There's another Chicago Buffalo train, I think. I feel like I may be getting some of these wrong. Maybe those are the St. Louis trains. No, I'm sure the St. Louis trains had the purple engines. The Ribena engines, as they were. Continuing through, I can hear the... there you go. You can even see the light go green for it. Into this tunnel. And you can hear the other train that's been alongside us all the way through from Philadelphia coming back up, but it is going to stop. We are not. There it is. That's going to slow down. Look at how busy this station is. We are just passing through. There we go. And that one there is the Chicago-Washington train. And now we go under the tunnel as not to get in the way of anybody. So we're not going to have to stop for this, and we just continue straight through this small tunnel. Or narrow tunnel, should I say. It's not really small, it's quite a big tunnel. Quite a long one. As you can see. All the way over to St. Louis. And that's where we'll end the episode once we get back to St. Louis. You can hear the trains going overhead. See, that train would have got in the way had we not had this tunnel. One of us would have had to stop. So this is pretty good. And let's see how fast we can go along here. We're doing 63 miles per hour currently. Now we do have other trains on this. We definitely have other trains on this track, so we're going to have to see if any trains slow us down. So far so good. There's another anti-clockwise train. Looks like that was slowed down for something. And there is one of our huge and very old freight trains. We're all clear to go past that train. That train's actually going really quite quickly. Obviously it's had a long time to pick up speed. We haven't had so much time, but we are now accelerating as fast as we can go. So we should come up to overtake this train pretty sharpish. Unless we get stuck in traffic, which I'm hoping with this four track setup we shouldn't get stuck in traffic. You see, if we didn't have these 4 tracks we would have been stuck because of that oil train. That's going to be close, that's going to be cutting it close, that's going to be cutting it close. He's going to have to stop, isn't he? Yep, he's stopping. And we get to continue straight through. I was worried about this train blocking our path, but that's okay. Now approaching St. Louis, and that is one whole trip pretty much around all of the Great Lakes. That's the entire bulk of the map, barring Thunder Bay. That's the bulk of the map. One journey all the way around. It's taken 130 episodes. 130 episodes to get to this point. Coming in at 87 miles per hour into St. Louis. Pennsylvania railroads, Great Lakes loop clockwise. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Transport Fever Series 2 the Great Lakes, and then Series 3 the Great Western Railway. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Don't forget to support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/ECGadget, and follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ECGadget. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time in Transport Fever Series 2 the Great Lakes.